Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, and welcome to the Topics of Elevation podcast. My name is Miss Ava, and I thank you so much for taking the time to be with me this evening. Our topic of discussion, as you know, it is graduation season, and congratulations to you if you have a young one that is graduating and looking forward to the next chapters of their lives. What I want to talk about, there's a lot of information and a lot of pushback, of course, on social media regarding graduation season, and how there are students that are walking across the stage that haven't really measured up to the metrics to be able to walk across the stage. In other words, children are graduating and they were failing. So, how is it that we have children that are being pushed out of schools? Okay, so what I would like to discuss first and foremost is in 2002, President George Bush Sr. signed into effect the No Child Left Behind, and that pushed schools to give struggling students more attention, support, and help was the purpose of that. And more students graduated under the law. It went from 57% in 2002 to 68% at the succession of the law. In 2015, Every Student Succeeds Act took effect. That was signed into law by President Barack Obama. And that particular law intended to ensure families are empowered to support their children's learning and that all students receive a high quality, well rounded education that prepares them for long term success. And that is according to Google. And in essence, it gave the states the flexibility in measuring students' actual success. And with that, of course, that's where the pushback comes from because it's like it depends on, it gives the states their own measurement of quality and things of that nature. As most, situations, every state is kind of their separate entity. They have their own laws, even though there may be federal laws in place. States still have the flexibility to make their own laws under certain circumstances. So, in this situation, especially after the pandemic, you had a lot of children um, kind of took a step back. You have a lot more behavioral issues that are showing up. More medication is being prescribed in terms of ADHDs, anxiety, depression, um, you know, uh, suicide rates are increasing, violence towards teachers, violence towards students. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. In terms of the graduation metrics, uh, they don't have, I didn't see any stats regarding that in terms of when the Every Student Succeeds Act took place in 2015 and to today's date. But I know firsthand that there are, you know, it's up to us as parents, of course, to implement and provide the blueprint on who our children should be, what type of people they should be, holding them accountable, making sure that they are responsible, respectful, things of that nature. But in terms of the narrative, it's being pushed, of course, that traditional public school systems, they're failing our children. The teachers are quitting in droves. It seems as though more children may have to go back to homeschooling, which really, if you can, that to me, in my opinion, that is the best way to do things. Of course, we're not all of us aren't always going to be well versed in the new tactics of math and science capabilities. But there's a lot of resources and tools that are available to assist parents and other loved ones in helping our children succeed. Um, Also, in terms of the children just being kind of pushed through, and that's mainly because of funding. That's mainly because of the laws that are in place that kind of protect the public school systems because they are governmentally funded, and you have to have certain stats and grades and certain students passing in order to even get grants and things of that nature for the charter schools and the semi-public schools. So that is something that we really need to discuss, and we need to get together as a community and figure out what we need to do for our children, because in essence, it's really failing them. If we're not preparing them for success, then we're preparing them for failure. And a lot of the situations when you have um, a lot of violence, when you have a lot of um, issues in the classroom that um, causes the students to not be able to concentrate, or you have students that are missing multiple tens and tens of days out of school, and there is no recourse for that. You come to school when you want. You come to school and you misbehave. You come to school and you're disrespectful to the faculty and staff, and yet you still get to walk across the stage. I have a problem with that, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. Of course, everyone points the finger at the public system. Um, like it or not, that's what we have. So if you're not able to homeschool, then the only other option is public school. So what do we do if that's the only option? We have to show up. We have to have these community meetings where maybe we're discussing in terms of the different things that may be coming up in school, PTAs, um, showing them volunteerism, showing them, giving them more time maybe to interact with their teachers or their instructors um, on a more personal level, not to be disrespected, but for them to see that it takes special people to, want to give back in that way. But they're tired. They're exhausted. They're not paid enough to deal with the type of behavior issues that they have to deal with, and it's not really fair. And you have a lot of parents that they're like, they put the onus on the teachers and the instructors to be the main source of education when it should be a joint venture. But we keep having these same conversations. Who's dropping the ball? Is the parents dropping the ball? Is it the teachers dropping the ball? Is the administration dropping the ball? Is it the government dropping the ball? I just feel like we all need to work together, because these children are our future. So if we can't set them up for success, then where will our society, where will our culture, where will our country be? And it doesn't take long to destroy um, the system that we have in place. um, and the narrative is also, that public school system is designed to teach the children to be employees. Okay, well, change that. Let them know they have a choice. That doesn't have to be the only narrative that they hear. It's up to us to let them know that there's other options available. Okay, because we have some smart children. They're independent. They want to be independent, but they need direction at the same time. So this conversation is definitely one that needs to be had. I look forward to maybe diving a little deeper into it. Just let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, like and subscribe if you look forward to hearing more information and more sessions, more content. I look forward to having guests on the podcast for topics of elevation. And this is a podcast dedicated to self development, self improvement, and finding a way to get out of your own way and set yourself up for success. and to live a joyous life. Until next time, my name is Miss Ava, and I lead with love.